Now then, so last night I was just kind of playing some games, wasn't really recording or anything, and got into this game. I was using my weather deck I've been working with, like the weather vampires thing. Um, I was trying out some of the new cards, seeing if maybe they belonged in the deck, maybe they didn't. Um, Witch Apprentice seems good. She Who Knows does not belong in the deck. I tried it out, didn't really work. But this was one of the games where it was in. So yeah, I wasn't recording or anything. Hence why this recording started after we played like three cards each. So to start it off, they'd started with a Slizzard, and then went Avalak into Portal. And as you can see, I kind of hide the names during games because I'm kind of used to it with Pro Rank, and especially when I come up against like very good players. It's literally for the reason that happened with this game, where when I see it's someone very, very good, um, I kind of feel like I'm on the spot, especially if I know I'm streaming, because like he was at the time streaming to like 1,500 people, and yeah, made a few mistakes, but obviously great honour to play against someone as good as Lifecoach. And sort of after the game, I went back, watched it from his perspective, and sort of saw a few things, and just wanted to go over it because it's always pretty good to try and do something like this. Come back and look at your games and say, okay, where did I go wrong? Because that's how you improve. And especially when I'm playing against somebody as good as Lifecoach, you can assume that they're playing pretty well, and if your players aren't really matching up to that, you're making the mistake, which is the approach I've taken. And I wanted to put this video as kind of this might help you learn to analyze your own games. So it may be worth it if you were like using this to learn, to see what I do, and maybe like pause it and think whether you think that is like the right play or not. And obviously I'll talk about it. My sort of hindsight interpretation may not be 100% correct, but I think looking at this in hindsight, I spotted a lot of things that I did where I was like, it's not right. So yeah, we'll get playing with it. So it started pretty standard. Did set up Slizzard and portaled out an Arcaspore consumed by the Slizzard. And so my thought here was, okay, we want to get dominance maybe for the riders. We also want to get down a Foglet. So get the Crimson Curse down. We are on red coin, so it gives us a reasonable chance to try and fight for the round. And, maybe take it on even, maybe not. A bit unlikely with the portal coming out, it's quite a big investment. But we do have a pretty good hand, maybe using something like Detlaf or like She Who Knows. And then if we can, win on even, go into a round two, keep She Who Knows on the board, it's looking good because then that carries over into round three as well. I think this was maybe an overcommitment. I feel so weird saying Lifecoach made a mistake. Maybe an overcommitment using the Phantom. It's really good against Crimson Curse because of the Veil, and they made the slight mistake of not playing Fruits first. And so here, I was looking at the difference at 21 points. It's not massive, and we have 12, 18 points on the board. So we're basically just, a couple of units away from having Sabbath, and Witch Apprentice can really start popping off, and we can get our She Who Knows to stick. And so, Blade in the Conqueror, keeps us quite close. We've got the bleeding ticking. Obviously, they have engines now, but this isn't out of reach. And if I remember right, he just kind of wanted to pass here, which I think was fair, or maybe he played one more. Yeah, he played one more card. Yeah, so the lock came out, and I feel like this was my mistake here. This was my pass, I think. This was definitely my pass, because the 25 points is a very big gap. 25 points is a very big gap. Obviously, the Witch Apprentice, if we play like two more cards, is reasonable. Plays as a 10, but we're still down by 15. And considering they have engines ticking as well, we're probably going to struggle. Keep trying to click that to end my turn. We're probably going to struggle to keep up. So this was, I think, my first very big mistake. I think using Crimson Curse was reasonable, but I think my big mistake here wasn't just snapping off a pass. This was the pass right here. and trying to remember what I was even thinking here. Yeah, so I thought, right, I'll get the engine set up, thinking it at least equals theirs. I wasn't expecting a pass from him here. I thought he would take this a little further because he's in a reasonable spot here. But my thought here was like, okay, we can commit all our leader or just accept that this is a shitty situation. We're going to have to use Detlef, which obviously I did not want to do. Didn't particularly want to use Detlef, and yeah, it was a big mistake not to pass, and I was very heavily punished for it here. And you can kind of see me doing the maths in my head, like, okay, what can we do? What can we do here to try and salvage this? And the short answer is it's either commit our whole leader or commit Detlef. So I favoured keeping our leader over Detlef. Obviously we would have kept a card as well, but my thought was, okay, we're going into a round two cards down. The only way we get out of this is a very good bleed in round 2. And hopefully if we can then keep She Who Knows on the board, you know, maybe get it back to where we're even cards going into a round 3. That was really my only way out, and it kind of became very downhill from this point, and it was the mistake of committing, and I try not to overcommit in a round 1, but I really did in that situation. This hand was a little weird. I was looking for something like Caranthea, or like Gulls to try and potentially get to it. Because if we can get double Unseen Elder set up, which we did actually end up pulling into, if we can get double Unseen Elder set up, really strong engine, we can basically threaten a 2-0, which was kind of my thought was, okay, we can test the waters here for sure. You know, play a little passive, get the riders out, get our thinning done, see what we're able to get out before we fully commit. And so I think this was correct. Obviously they're running some Deathwish kind of stuff, so they're going to end up with some reasonably tall units with all the consumes. So I thought just, while we can, get the riders out, get up to 18 points. So we're getting close to Sabbath already. And potentially, like, if no points of damage came in, like, theoretically a Conqueror here would be enough to keep the Sabbath going. But this was kind of my thought. I was considering, like, do we use Gulls just as an Imler's Wrath? And just try and get out of the round and accept, okay, we're going to be down cards, or do we go for it? And I think in general, I think I made the correct choice of going for it. I mean, like, okay, we're going to need the Caranthea if we're going to salvage this game, but what we did afterwards, not too great. So I saw this and I thought, okay, we can, we really need to commit here. We really need to commit the Caranthea, and we can deal with an Unseen Elder pretty well, especially because they don't have Devotion. So he's operating as like more than a 1.10 engine because he's like setting up more bleeding. And I think 2 leaders there was also correct because what's it called? Natural selection exists. I thought I want these to stick. How without something like a Karathi, which I think they would have just at least be looking to use on She Who Knows. Without a Karathi, there's no reasonable way they're dealing with this. It was at higher points than like a Parasite could take out. It's not going to take bleeding to put it in the range of Parasite, and an Imler's Wrath would remove it. So that was kind of my process here. And if I remember right, a mistake here, I targeted the Beast. I should have targeted Unseen Elder. I ended up like talking on the maths and stuff. It didn't end up mattering really all that much. But yeah, slight misplay there. I think at this point I was really assessing like, okay, is this where we go for a 2-0, or is this where we pass and say, okay, you're gonna have to commit a reasonable amount if you want to stay in this round and actually get ahead and not lose your card or anything like that, because the Unseen Elders are no joke. They're putting out a lot of points each turn, bleeding really quickly. It's 4 points a turn. Even if they play like one more card, it's another 8 points. So we're like in effect ahead by like can't be bothered doing the maths. But yeah, basically we're ahead by a lot. And this is kind of what I saw. I saw the horn, and my thought here was just I snapped off the pass. Maybe should have thought about it a bit more. I'll just pause it here actually, because my thought here was, okay, they're going to take maybe get like 2 more points from here. They're going to get 4 points there, so 6 points. And then we're bleeding here. So let's say they get 8 points, and we're going to bleed for optimistically 4 points. So in effect, we're basically ahead by like 18, which is a pretty healthy lead. And that's if they play one card and sort of get ahead. So I thought 18, okay, it's got to be something pretty big, and we can assess from there. We've got the horn out. I'm not super confident that we managed to stay ahead, or in as good a position as this. I don't think we're going to get a better pass. Basically, the option here was either we go for the 2-0 or we take the pass here. And I think, in all honesty, looking back on it, and of course hindsight's 2020, I should have just gone for it and accepted if this goes to a round 3 we lose, which was my mistake here for sure. But I was looking at this, I was floating this for quite a while, and I was trying to do the maths quick in my head, and I was thinking, okay, I think this gets my head by like 1. I think like my sort of quick maths off the top of my head, putting my head by 1, 1 or 2. I think I'd put it ahead at 1, and the sweat was dripping at this point. At this point, I was like, okay, this is over. There's no way we stay ahead, and that was obviously really nice for him for sure. Turns off the Sabbath, so She Who Knows don't come across, and manages to get out in 1 card, which was really... It's a sad time, boys. It's a sad, sad time. Sad time indeed. I think honestly that bleed onto Beast hurts quite a bit, but it's what it is. And then at this point, I was just like, okay, there's no way we win this, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. I probably won't even bore you with all of this, because a lot of it was kind of me. Oh yeah, there was. My girlfriend was like, "Why are you like so stressed?" Because I was like, she could tell I was really stressed playing this game. I was just like, "Look who I'm playing against," and I had to explain like who he is. But yeah, I think the problem was, and I would say to anyone who kind of suffers the same when they're like put on the spot, is like, do what I do and just cover it up, because this is what it does to me. I make big mistakes, and then make a fool of myself. But it's helped, because it allows me to do this. It allows me to look at it in hindsight and tell where I fucked up, basically. So yeah, at this point, it was basically over. This came down, and I was like, well, the only way we ever get dominance here is like Oberon, get some frost down, and like maybe we get a Imler's Wrath to kill that. We likely don't, but I mean, to be honest, I was hoping we'd get something like a Conqueror. But I mean, the frost worked out. It wasn't terrible. And then it just kind of starts rolling at this point, doesn't it? You know how it is, against Succubi. They just get tons of points. This is kind of a point where another leader would have helped really, really well, because we could just chuck a leader onto, say, Oberon, and Imler's Wrath removes this, and then they're kind of struggling for another consume, which is probably an argument for not using that last charge on the Unseen Elder last round, as it wasn't the difference in the last round, and that 3 points may have been quite relevant, because you'll kind of see this Slizzard really does work. So just skip that head a bit. I just played another Frost. I was just like, at this point I was just jamming cards. I was like, there's no point, there's no way I win this, short of those literally being couple of point cards, but we played it out nonetheless. Yeah, so the Barbagazi came in. But okay, let's get our value of removing a consume. So as it is obviously doing work, it's basically a 5-point a turn engine at this point. But Barbagazi was representing like 16 points, so we kind of had to take that off the board. And then yeah, at this point it's Conqueror and over. And then yeah, the video didn't go on. It doesn't take 2.5 minutes. I kind of forgot to stop recording. I think yeah, last card was Kira, so quite out of reach to say the least. Quite out of reach. But yeah, I think looking back on it, it was a case of I messed it up from round one. I think if we just passed, it was that critical point, like just here, where they're ahead by quite a lot, and it's interesting how butterfly effect. I don't know why this is going so slow. It's sort of interesting how kind of like butterfly effects all from this point. We pass here. Let's say we pass here, and they do a bleed in round two. You kind of saw the amount of points we were getting from Unseen Elder. We usually get out of that round, and if we hold on to something like Oberon, let's say in that round two we also get to develop She Who Knows, then it sticks on the board. We carry through a really strong unit, and maybe that denies dominance or it sets up dominance for us, and things maybe go a little differently. But it's as I say, it kind of all stems from that not passing here. So I think and a lot of that was because I was stressed about who I was playing with, and what that caused me to do was basically just not take the time like I usually would. And yeah, you kind of see. I think I played this out. I have no idea what's going on with this. I played this out like quite quick, just like yep, we're just gonna jam this down. I just didn't think it through fast enough. I didn't think it through for long enough, rather. Looking at this, thinking, okay, 10 maybe does it. Let's just play this, and like that right there, that was the loss. But I don't want to go on for this too much because I think I've covered everything. I'm gonna put on another video though. This was just a nice little bonus. Treat this as a bonus. So appreciate you watching. I hope it was enjoyable watching me get dumpstered by somebody far better than myself. And I'll catch you in the next one.